Hey guys, here in the studio we have a returning guest. We did this with Delilah Doom for about 3 years in a row here. We like to get them while they're young. That sounds weird and dirty, but we had a year ago this wonderful lady on. Probably about a match into her career, and she has done so much in her rookie year. I can't imagine somebody coming out of Pittsburgh that's had a better one. Britt Baker back in the studio.
Hey.
And among the things, I actually gave you a good camera shot this time.
Oh, good.
I don't know if you ever looked at your interview before, but I don't know. I was tired that night. I had a lot going on. Your shot was like all kinds of crooked and stuff.
You're forgiven. It's okay. It was all you.
But welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, like I said, it's been a year since you debuted in the IWC. I think longer than that, since you were the backstage announcer.
I was
for a bit.
I was the interviewer.
You're the interviewer for a bit.
That seems so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was backstage interviewer. They got jumped by Ray Lyn.
And now she's out the door. So let's see how that worked out.
Yeah, right. Bye. I hope she's watching. Bye.
That's awesome. But anyways, so like I said, let's talk about that a little bit. Of course, IWC is your home promotion. You came up, you trained with them and everything, and you've had a lot of great matches with that. I've seen you and Raylene even on Global Force, of course, and going around for that. Can you talk about your experience? Working with Raylene for so long. Mm-hmm. And kind of working around IWC and really kind of being the cornerstone of the women's division that there was none for the longest time.
You're right, there wasn't any. But as far as Raylene goes, it's to the point now when we are talking matches and stuff, we have our own lingo. We'll be like the thing, and then the thing, and then yeah, that okay. And it's hilarious because when I first met her, I was I had my first match. I think I did 2 moves in that tag match total, and I was blown up even walking to the ring. I was shaking, nervous. I was like, I forget everything. They're like, Brett, you have 2 moves. Shut up. And they're talking to me the whole time. CJ's talking to me the whole time. I was absolutely terrified. And then a year later, Raylene and I were wrestling in Global Force, putting together actually kind of decent matches. So, I think I feel like I was lucky to kind of have someone that I could keep, traveling with, having matches with, because we did some smaller shows on the road too. She took me with her, and it was good to get some reps in. Someone I was comfortable with, someone I knew was safe, wasn't gonna drop me on my head, wasn't gonna drop her in her head. Because
she was fairly experienced going in. I know I think trained down in OVW. I think when we talked with her, so she.
Right, yeah, she did OVW, and then just recently too, she trained the House of Truth and broke her hand. So
thanks a lot, Truth Martini. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, so she's back in action now. She's recovered, on her way to California to live with Dylan, happily ever after.
And now she gets to do the Lex Luger steel plate in the
hand.
Oh,
I know, right?
That was great. That was a great when they pulled that up. I'm like, it's Lex Luger.
I know.
She's the narcissist. What's going on?
And they put her X-ray up on the screen. It's like, what is this? That's a plumber move.
Definitely. So from that, you say you've been around a bit, and I was surprised. One, I was happy to see you were on the poster when I go out to my yearly sabbatical to the Gathering of the Juggalos. And you were part of the Girl Fight show out there. Tell me, because I think we were messaging a little bit on Facebook because you were trying to figure out where to go and everything like that.
Okay, so
and the Gathering is the Gathering is an experience.
That's what I'm gonna say here. So I had an idea what the Gathering of the Juggalos was. Mm-hmm. I would say I was highly underinformed though before I got there. Great people. Great. Mm-hmm. I don't think I would go alone next time. Not just because I get there and I pull up in this field and they're like, you can park here, 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 or here. You might get blocked in and be stuck here for 48 hours, but you might not. And I'm like, okay,
And
great.
you had IWC
I
that night.
I had to leave immediately after the match because there was a battle royal at the end. I couldn't even stay for that. I had to leave immediately and go to IWC and shower because it was 8 million degrees outside. That was an outside show.
Yeah, it was rough.
But
they gave away free hot dogs during that. I don't know. Like I don't know. I think because they had their big show at like midnight the night before.
Oh yeah.
And then this was at
which went to like what 3 a.m.
Yeah, it went to like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Thankfully, not as late as the year that the main event of Tommy Dreamer was when the sun came up a couple years before. So I think they were just like, yeah, we'll have free food, and they're giving everybody hot dogs out there.
Yeah. They wheeled a giant like industrial fan in the back, like in the tent where the locker room was, and it was like the best thing in the world. This fan, we all just stood there in front of this fan because it was so hot. That was brutal, but it was fun. It was a good time. Right? It was an experience. I would definitely say. It's
awesome, and also you know it's a rough fan base, you know, to be in front of.
Right.
And I was always worried because they always label, like, this is the first year they did it under the Girl Fight banner. They always label it as, like, the exotic women of wrestling and stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, in the first year I saw that in the program, I'm like, they're completely just going to have a bunch of strippers come out here and do stuff in the ring. And I was so happy to see it was, like, Crazy Mary Dobson.
Right, and which, you know, I love her.
People like that. Wasn't that the one that you posted a couple weeks ago that said, hey, attention, dream match coming up?
Well, I might have. I've been having a lot of dream matches lately. Actually, within the past, like, probably 2 months. I had Candice LeRae with Crazy Mary, Allison Kay, or Sienna. So those dream matches have just been rolling in left and right. So I've been super lucky and fortunate. But as far as Girl Fight over at the Gathering of the Juggalos. Yeah, I was scared because people were telling me there's these stories. They're like, oh, they're going to hate you. They're like, you're not weird enough. They're going to throw batteries at you.
You're not weird enough.
And I'm like, what do you mean they're going to throw batteries at me? Like, why? And they're like, because you're just not weird. And I was like, why? I want to be weird. What do I do? I don't want these batteries coming at me. It was fine, though. The crowd was fun. It was just so hot. And that's all I remember is it was hot. But, you know, it was fun. It was a good time. Like I said, good experience.
Let's talk a little bit more about these interesting moments because it feels like every weekend I end up seeing something on an Instagram or some promotion site of you mentioned Allison Kay, who I believe you had a beer with during the match.
Yeah. we went way rogue that match. So we probably brawled outside the ring for like what seemed like 10 minutes, but I'm sure it wasn't. But she is so fun and so witty and so creative, and I love her. That was one of my favorite people to work with ever. We go over to the concession stand and she grabs 2 beers. She's like, we need a break. So we're sitting in these chairs. We take a drink. Then we're exchanging shots back and forth again. Take another drink. Pedro I think Pedro ended up bleeding that match.
What?
Yeah. He was.
For those who don't know, Pedro's the announcer.
Pedro is the announcer. Yeah. He's the best announcer in the world. I love Pedro. But Pedro got involved. He started bleeding. And then at the end, you know, she gave a little put me over speech to Britt Baker and then hit me with a stunner. I took the stunner, but I didn't spill my beer. So, you know, priorities. But that was a really fun match. That was the last girls night out show, I think. Yeah. With AIW.
Awesome. From that. And so speaking of AIW, this picture came up just today and I was like, I have to ask about this one. If I find the right button. This guy right here. So those don't know. Okay, set this up for our audio listeners. I didn't even know Sanjay Dutt in the background.
I know. Look at another. So this is Swoggle, Hornswoggle, formerly as Hornswoggle with WWE, and one of my personal favorite workers in the back is Dick Justice. I love him. I think he's absolutely hilarious. I think he's money. So what was happening here is this was mid-match with Swoggle versus Tracy Smothers. So they were wrestling, but then, you know, this obviously led to a dance-off because why not? Because we're at AIW and there's Tracy Smothers wrestling a midget with Dick Justice as the ref. So why wouldn't we have a dance-off? Because then
That's how they do.
right?
That's how they do in Cleveland.
And he just I was outside the ring. We're outside the ring, banging on the mat, And then Swoggle was like, "Get in the ring with me," and I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, we go the one corner, and he's like, "Spin me." I spin him. We go the other corner. He's like, "Dip me," and I'm like, "Okay, man, you got it."
So you're calling dance moves like you're calling a wrestling match.
No, he was, yeah. That was an experience, and that picture came up, and I laughed so hard because that is just everything AIW is in that. All you need to add to that picture is like Space Monkey super kicking like Ray Rowe or something. And,
wow!
And then that picture's complete.
Trey's telling me that match stole the show at Girls Night Out.
Oh, thank you.
By the way. So we have a couple people checking out. So please, if you have any questions while we're rolling here, please let us know. We are keeping an eye out on the Facebook live here on the Wrestling Mayhem Show Facebook page. But awesome. So I have to get to, again, that weekend of the Gathering was interesting because it seemed like you were everywhere. Of course, you were at the Gathering. You were at IWC that night, which was, what was that night? That was Wipeout, I think.
I think that was Wipeout. It was something, yeah.
It was the one I didn't make. I guess there's been a lot of those lately, but then I get back and I'm in my nosebleeds at Raw, as I do because that's what I do at Raw. And this Nia Jax has her first match on Raw, and I'm watching and I'm like, wait a minute, somebody seems familiar down there, a mile away, down there in the ring. And if it wasn't for the fact that I saw like your gear like just 2 days before.
It was new.
I wouldn't have known. Yeah, because it was new gear.
Yep.
I wouldn't have known that it was you.
Mm-hmm.
And they definitely couldn't give you a different name because it was on your tights.
I know, and I had other gear too, and they're like, "Nope, wear that gear." And I was like, "Okay, fine." But yeah, talk about holy moment. That was Are we allowed to swear? We're not allowed to swear.
You're allowed to.
We'll try not to swear. We're baby faces here, so we don't swear.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an experience and a half. So just kind of walk you through that day. So we got an email probably 2 weeks beforehand asking about extra work. And typically, especially with girls on extra work with WWE, you don't really get used. You're kind of there for maybe if they need like a guest spot, like a hairstylist or something.
Like most you see is like when
it's like guys
Rosebuds,
doing security
right?
spots too. Yeah, and the Rosebuds they got killed off, so it's totally done. So they actually stopped using girls as extras for a while. It's like the guys still do the security spots, but girls kind of they were done. And then so I got that email and I was like, okay. I thought it was weird that this time when they asked, they're like, oh, by the way, you have to get like this physical done and this blood work done. And I thought that was weird. And I was like, oh, probably just a new protocol or something. And we get there and Ray Lyn's there too. And they're like, oh, you're probably gonna have a match tonight. And I'm thinking like me and her, like what, like a practice match before cameras rolling. We didn't really think anything of it. And then a couple of the refs are like, oh, you're excited? Like, get my beat down. I'm like, what is everyone talking about? And then finally, they're like, yeah, Nia Jax is going to debut tonight. We're going to use you. You're going to wrestle Nia. And I'm like, what? So at first I'm like, oh, maybe she needs to practice moves. Or maybe it's like a dark match or something. And then they're like, nope, match 2, segment 6, Britt versus Nia. And I'm like, all right, bring in the swerved cameras. Like, what's happening here? Like, there's no way that I am going to wrestle Nia Jax on Monday Night Raw. And sure enough, in walks Nia. Hey, nice to meet you. And I'm like, oh, my God. So, yeah, I was shitting my pants. I was so nervous, for lack of better words. I was like, because this is her debut. Like, right. Force of nature.
And she hadn't been on NXT long.
No.
Like she's done takeover matches and everything for the title and everything, right. But still, like it was kind of surprising she went up because she's only been around for like 6 months or so, right?
Right. Yeah, and this was I think the Monday right after the brand split. So this is like she's making her first ever Raw match, her Raw debut. So that's some pressure right there. But
and you're also the other women's match on the same night that I think Sasha won the belt from Charlotte.
Yes, yes. So I got to watch that backstage, which was awesome. Which she's doing all these crazy dives, making everyone backstage hold their breath. Who was backstage? They were all the workers. Like, it's so awesome because they all sit and watch everyone's matches, which I think is so cool. And they're like like gasping and popping for moves left and right too. And it's kind of cool to see everybody still.
So it's just like those backstage scenes from Total Divas.
Okay.
Because you've seen them on there, right? Where it's like all the girls are gathered around watching the matches.
Right, yeah,
and
it's like that, but like
yeah.
a ton more.
Yeah.
So guys are watching, girls are watching, and girls are stealing the show.
Absolutely,
the Sasha, Charlotte, Becky, and all those girls, phenomenal. I think they're stealing shows every night still. So
certainly. So you got the first, and again, it's been amazing because first we saw you, and then we saw the Light of Doom just a couple weeks later. It was the like we just talked about at the top of the show, and again, like other ones, I know Eamon's known a couple of the other girls that have been in there too. It's kind of an interesting trend, and I know it's exciting for everybody that watches indies because we're like, I know that person, that person, I've seen that person, and then there's that weird Jameson guy with the weird jaw that they keep using and almost got a main event on SmackDown.
He was at James Ellsworth.
Yeah. It was on Raw with you as well.
With Braun Strowman. Man, I thought he was done. I thought that was the end. That's the end of James Ellsworth. But yeah, he's a character, so they'll keep using him, I think.
So I gotta ask, when you get a spot like that, and I don't know, you were probably just too blown away at the time, but like, are you kind of like wondering, like, am I the next Colin Delaney?
It crossed my mind. I'd be lying if I didn't. I love Colin. I just saw him this past weekend, actually. He's always at AEW, but yeah, but no, I didn't really know what to think because, like I said, they don't have women's squash matches typically, or like women jobbers. So the whole experience was just kind of weird and unusual, and I didn't really know what to expect or what was gonna happen, what was gonna come next, or how people were gonna react, but my phone was blowing up by the end of the night. I will say that. So
from there, of course, and I know that picture's been going around of you sitting there in the ring, and that's awesome. But you also popped up a couple weeks ago in Ring of Honor here in Pittsburgh in the Women of Honor 6-girl tag at the beginning.
Right.
So is that your first experience with them?
Yep. Yeah, they asked me to do the show. It was recently, like that, just that same week, and I was with Kelly Klein and Veda. I'm a big Veda Scott fan. I love her. It was Mandy Faye, she's training at the dojo, and Faye and who else? Crazy Mary. So yeah, it was fun. 6-man to get a little crazy, but it was a good experience.
That's awesome. So again, you've been around a bit. Other than Raw, what's kind of been the craziest thing that you've experienced in your first year of being in the Indies?
Crazy. I just think the opportunities that I've had. I mean, AIW, they spoil me rotten over there with just the matches, the opponents, the opportunities. Oh, actually, the JT Lightning Invitational Tournament. So, like, picture, I walk in the locker room to the likes of, Billy Gunn, Kurt Hawkins, or not Kurt, what's his, Brian Myers,
now Kurt Hawkins again.
Now Kurt Hawkins again. Yeah. Ray Rowe, Cedric Alexander, and then there's me, and I'm like, I have no business being here. But it was awesome. It was even just to watch those matches the whole weekend it was amazing. It's an incredible environment to be around. The fans were insane. So I think that was just being a part of that whole, the tournament, the experience in general. And also we just had Johnny Gargano's farewell match, which that hits hard. But that was also something really cool to be a part of.
We'll miss you, Johnny Bananas, in your flag tights in IWC.
Oh, yeah, no, he's great. He's awesome. And they're out there training tonight too, and I miss them. I wish I was with them. Today's Candace's birthday too, so everyone go tweet Candace happy birthday.
Unfortunately, we won't be putting this out there on
Give
the
her
same
a
night,
belated
but
birthday.
whenever this comes out, just look it up. Be like, so I just heard it was your birthday.
Yeah.
He's gonna get so confused. Awesome. Well, from there, so what are you watching these days? What are you watching to kind of keep up with things? What's kind of got your attention anymore?
So as far as watching, I've recently been watching, kind of keeping up with, if I know I'm going to be wrestling so and so on the weekend, kind of find some matches of that person.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as keeping up with like NXT and Raw and SmackDown, it's hard now. I mean, I'll be totally honest. I never used to watch SmackDown as much, and now I want to watch it, but it's I feel I never watch it live because I usually train. So I'm either in Pittsburgh or Cleveland training. So watching things live doesn't really happen very often. But even catching up, I feel like there's just no time because then I'm catching up here, but getting behind on this NXT show. So I'm still watching everything. It's just behind. I'm never not really. I got to check Twitter to see who has the belts first before I can actually see it myself.
Oh yeah, it's getting tough for all. It's tough for us that aren't trying to train.
Right? Yeah.
So. But and it's such good stuff now too. Like just all across the board.
Right. There's good wrestling everywhere. It's not hard. You just have to turn on the TV.
We talked about a lot of great things, but we'll go with the standby question here. We like to end this with: what is the worst and best thing, the best and worst thing about indie wrestling?
Man, that's hard. The best thing, I think, just getting to know people and then seeing those people kind of progress. So like Johnny, I like my heart. I get happy so hard when I think of Candace and Johnny. I just get so happy because they're awesome people, awesome trainers. I can't say enough good things about them. Like Johnny, his farewell match and everything. That's just something. It's not my match. I have nothing to do with it, but it just makes you so happy because you get to know them. Because it's like indie wrestling, we're all a big happy family. And Cedric Alexander being on the cruiserweight classic thing. Now that's, I mean, it's sad because it's like, oh, we'll never see you in the locker room again. But hey, congrats. But then as far as the worst thing about indie wrestling, I don't know. The road trips obviously suck. But as long as you're in good company, then the road trips east suck. I don't mind going west. Like driving to Cleveland's fine, but as soon as you go to Philly, Jersey, that half of the turnpike is just junk. I hate it's so boring.
You don't want to cross that border.
No, because there's nothing over there, and it's like every time you hit a service plaza, you're like, yes.
That seems about right. Western New York is kind of tough. I've discovered.
I think the last time I headed that way was over for the Monster Factory.
Mm-hmm. Like Rochester, don't go. It's tough up there.
Oh no, I don't believe in that. No, I'm just kidding. And it was me, LaRusso, and Darren De Niro, and we're driving to the Monster Factory. And on the way home, and I'm gonna put him on blast right now because this is so unsafe. We are driving home, and I'm asleep, LaRusso's asleep, Darren's driving, and we wake up, and he's live tweeting, saying, "Hey, bored on this drive home." Like, he'd tweet at me, and I wake up and I cut a heel promo on him, like, "You are not going to kill us in this car, put your phone down." So that just tells you a little bit how the road trips go. But sometimes they're really fun, sometimes they get stressful like that. But I know any road trip is better. That Roman Reigns is scaring me so much. I keep looking at him.
It's just Roman Reigns over my shoulder here. It's just Roman Reigns.
We need to break. Can I come get him?
You're gonna come.
I need to show everybody what I've been staring at this whole time.
She just took Roman Reigns.
No.
Just get over by the mic.
Huh? So
yep,
here's what I've had to look at this whole podcast. This.
just staring at you, judging you. Yeah, apparently.
Put him back over here.
We're gonna make sure we get you with a picture with him.
Me and
afterwards.
Roman.
Just being buddies.
He just stands there. He's just literally like right where the camera is. He's right there staring. It's like those clowns. It's terrifying.
So what is the best and scariest thing about being in the studio? Roman Reigns?
Yeah, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the best and the worst thing about being in the studio. Right there.
From the Facebook Live, we did have a question.
Okay.
Hold standby. But Ricky out there wants to ask, what is your dream match?
Ooh.
We don't ask that question anymore because I felt like that's like
I, honest to God, can say that my dream match I just wrestled not too long ago because it was Candice LeRae. For the fact that when I wasn't really, as a kid, I didn't know what indie wrestling was. It was kind of, that was something I very recently got introduced to. And when you Google indie wrestling female, like Candice LeRae is it. Like, she is the girl. And you know, she's I always tell people Candice LeRae is not only one of the best female wrestlers, she's one of the best wrestlers. Period. She's just kick ass, and there's nothing she can do. She's flawless to me. But so a year later, here we are, and not only is Candice one of my trainers, but then I actually have to have a match with her. So that was cool. But as far as dream match in the future, I would say I mean, you know, Sasha Banks would be any of the you know, women's revolution girls. But then there's some girls still on the indies that I would love to have matches with, like there's Heidi Lovelace. I love her. Even Veda. I love Veda too. She's nuts and crazy, and she can talk anybody into a hole because on her mic skills are phenomenal. I'd love to wrestle her. She's so fun. Who else? I would love to wrestle Andrew Palace because I love him. I just love him. He's perfect too. He's another flawless one.
Hey, they have opened the door in IWC to intergender matches with you. You were almost the IWC Tag Team Champion.
Almost for now. I'm coming back for that. That was fun. That Reloaded show. That was really fun. That was a good time. Because yeah, that was me. It was me and McChesney versus the Fraternity for the tag team titles. We almost won them. But I think in the future, and I hope Justin Plummer's listening, I encourage him to use some more intergender matches just because it's fun, it's entertaining, and you can get like really good matches out of it. As long as you don't insult the fans' intelligence, you can have really good intergender matches.
Awesome.
And I know, I mean, just with Alex Daniels alone, I feel like wait, let's talk about Alex Daniels for a second. Just because at IWC, he is like this uber baby face. AIW, he is this psycho serial killer heel.
So I always wondered about that because he comes out the very interesting music.
Yeah, it's so scary. And when I hear that song now, I get anxiety because when I feuded or when I wrestled with him, it like that song, it would just make me so nervous because I was like, oh, just like match nerves. And now when I hear that song, I associate that with being so terrified.
He came out in Royal Valley with Gone Girl on his tights, which is the movie about the guy that killed his wife.
Yeah, he
and then they got people chanting Gone Girl for some reason.
He had those tights the first night of the JT Lightning tournament when I wrestled him. He had the Gone Girl tights on. I don't know why he still wears those. Alex, figure it out. But yeah, and that was kind of my first taste of like one-on-one intergender wrestling, and it's awesome. It was so fun. I had a great time with him. He's an amazing worker. He's newer too, and he just beat Johnny Gargano in his farewell match, and Johnny had nothing but good things to say about him in his farewell speech.
Had a tremendous match with Ray Rowe, I think, at that Wipeout show in July.
Yeah, that was awesome. He did.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That was a really good match.
Available at IndyWrestling.us, by the way.
Plug.
All right. Anything else you want to go out on? Well, where can people find you? What's coming up? I guess generally what's coming up with you, because we don't really know when we're releasing this right now.
Things that are coming up. I'm always at IWC, always at AIW. Remix Pro Wrestling for the first time coming up here. Other than that, the Rise, the Shimmer Rise seminar in Chicago. We'll be there. When is that? November 10th?
Which apparently Traegar will be out there for that. So
we'll see you there, Traegar.
He gets around on the indie shows.
Oh, wow. Does he? That's dirty. No, just kidding. No, Traegar. We love Traegar. Great guy. But yeah, other than that, things. I know I'm booked. I'm booked solid. Just kind of the same places around here: Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Chicago for a hot second. But other than that, no, I don't have anything else to say.
Awesome. At Real Britt Baker on the Twitter?
Yes, and Instagram.
And Facebook?
Facebook's sticky right now because I have too many friend requests. I I gotta add them, but it's like Facebook's weird because it only lets you have so many friends,
Right.
which I'm against because why can you only have so many friends in life?
Oh, this is a friends page because you have a separate thing, right?
I don't, but people get creative and make their own things for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it might be fan page time for you.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a fan page right now, so if there's one, it's not created by me. But you can follow it. I'll follow it. I should go follow it too. Like,
I've probably mistakenly tagged it several times in these posts.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine.
So hopefully I got the right one on the Facebook tonight. This is you with the WWE ring, right?
Where? What am I looking at?
This one right here. Does that look right?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
That's me.
So look for her with the picture of her in the WWE ring.
Andrew Palace just texted me and said he wants me to start doing spots on Sorg's show. See, this is why I love him. This is why I want to wrestle him.
Well, pull Roman Reigns over.
Yeah.
And
no, we can't because I'm the baby face, so I can't do a heel turn.
Well, let's just pretend that he finally made his heel turn.
No, we can't. No, we're baby faces here. No heel turns. But Sorg, you have so much stuff in here. Wait, I'm gonna do this. We also have him here.
Some Scott Steiner.
And Roddy Piper cup filled with candy canes because why wouldn't you have that? This is like an I Spy book. This entire podcast room is an I Spy book.
Britt Baker, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
And playing with our toys here in the studio.
Say bye to Roman Reigns, everybody.
Show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.